Okay, welcome back. I had to do this in two parts because my brain just got way too tired to even sit down and keep editing lines from injuries, worry about our team's positioning. So I guess where we'll start this episode, we're first place in the Atlantic Division. I forgot, by the way, that I could just look at the standings right here. So Calgary doing nice. They don't even need me in Calgary, do they? We're doing fine in the Atlantic Division so far. It's a pretty weak division as well, so we got that going for us. The downside, you can see it on the screen. 9 more weeks without PK Subban. I think that is literally the second week in March that he is projected to return, which would be right after the trade deadline. I'm going to touch on this in just a second. Engeland is also out for 6 weeks, so we're a little depleted at D. And we have no cap space. And by I mean we have no cap space, we literally have no cap space right now. Now, I have edited my trade block. I want to talk about the deadline in a little bit, as well as my plans for this second half season simulation. Let's begin with this. This is the trade block that's been edited. I have currently changed my trade block wants. So these are everything that I want. I've only changed 2 things. Basically, I'm looking for a defenseman. Can I edit the handedness of the defenseman? Is that a possibility? I don't think I can. Yeah, no, I cannot choose the handedness of the defenseman. But basically, I'm looking for a trade for a top 4 defenseman, or at least that's what's on the block. I want a top 4 defenseman with a minimum potential of 3.5 red star potential and a maximum of 5 green star. So anything that's in there ages 17 to 33. You know what? I'm going to actually change the age maximum. You know what? 32. Let's go to 32. Just change it by 1 year. And on the second part of the trade block right here, I am setting a minimum potential value of 4 red star, maximum of 5 green star, and at least a skating potential, or skating category rather, of 4 star. So I need, those are my 2 wants and things that I would like to have. This is surplus. I didn't bother with surplus. I don't care. It didn't matter, but I did edit the players on the block. So I have put Desharnais on the block and Alexei Yemelin on the block. This is basically to put them out there, fish around, see what kind of offers I can get. I can always reject an offer if I don't like it. Now, the downside of me doing the rest of the full season simulation here is it's up to me to decide to accept or reject a trade from an AI team. I can't chime in with anyone's comments or suggestions. So that is the downside to all that. But I did listen to some comments that I've gotten. Desharnais is 28 years old, so age is not really a problem. However, as has been pointed out, he's 80 overall, and a pretty good 80 overall center, playing on the 4th line for this Canadiens. I think on the 4th line, the bottom 6. He's a bottom 6 player, and he's been one of the biggest point producers for this team. I'll show the stats in a second. But, I mean, he's making $3.5 million against the cap, and I agree that is really, really ridiculous. Now, for the future, I want my 4th liners or anyone really playing in my bottom 6. Wing, center, it doesn't matter. If you're playing on the 4th line especially, you don't need to be making more. I'd say maximum amount of salary I would give a 4th liner in this game, $1.5 million, and even some people might say that that's a stretch. I don't think 4th liners should be making too much over $1 million in this game for my team. If somebody else wants to pay a 4th liner that much money, then fair play to them. Now, I did put Yemelin on the block, not George's. I put the younger Yemelin, 28 years old, on the block. He has 4 years left. He's got an 83 overall rating. He is a top 4 D, but I want to see what Yemelin could potentially fetch. So these guys are just on the block. That's it. I'm not looking for a trade right now. I just want to see what's out there. Honestly, I don't want to take a trade on right now anyway. We're in a playoff spot. We're in a good place, divisionally speaking, and everything. I want to make the playoffs with this team. But I think if there's an offer that I can't refuse, I got to take it. Now, the trade value of Yemelin is kind of there. I think he could get us a decent return. It's a question of who do you put on the block, who do you trade, who do you package. Maybe we do a package deal of a couple of players. My plan right now, let's wait until the deadline to actually seek out a legitimate trade. Because if we're not a playoff team by the deadline, that makes it easier. Now, the hard part is we're missing Subban. Like I mentioned already, we're missing Subban for 9 weeks. That's your number one defenseman. He's gone for 9 weeks out of the lineup. We're kind of looking to fill that void in the roster, and that's what we would be looking to do in a trade. So I was going to show Desharnais, the 5'7", 28-year-old centerman for this team, 3 years remaining at $3.5 million. So these are all the categories on Desharnais, and these are the stats. 42 games played, so we're pretty much bang on halfway through season number 2 here. 15 goals, he's already eclipsed 15 in 42 games, better than anything he has done in the previous 3 seasons that are shown here in the NHL. 10 assists, 25 points. At this pace, I don't know if he's going to outdo those points that he had in 81 games in 2011-2012, but he's definitely going to score more goals than that if he can stay healthy, if he doesn't get injured from here on in. But that's a really good clip. 15 goals in 42 games. Very solid for a guy playing bottom 6 minutes. Yeah. 15 goals for Desharnais is tied for 3rd in goals on the Canadiens. This is all skaters. He's tied with 88 overall Max Pacioretty, who has a 4.5-star shooting category. There isn't a category for Pacioretty that is below 4.5 star. This is incredible. How long do we have Max locked up for? 5 years. Okay, I like that. It's very nice to see. Then Rene Bourque. This is a guy I should actually consider putting on the block, actually. Rene Bourque is 33. 4-star, 4 white star potential right now. He's not going to obviously get any better than he is at this moment. He has 2 years left on his current deal at 3.3. I'm really thinking Rene Bourque, possible trade bait in the future. I don't know what the trade value is because I'm in a stats screen and not in the trade screen right now. Oh, and I didn't even think about plus minus. So everyone on this team is pretty much a plus. I mean, we've been scoring more than we've been giving up goals this season. So, we've got the occasional player in the negative on plus minus, but most of this team is positive in the plus minus. The points leader is Max Pacioretty, Duchesne with 32, Eller, Plekanec, then Desharnais. So you got some aging players. Plekanec is another one of those aging players, 32 years old, has 2 years left at $5 million. But I mean, Plekanec is he's a fill-in until, well, LeBlanc's ready, right? Until LeBlanc gets better. LeBlanc is an 83 overall already at 23 years old. So he's basically waiting in the reins to take on the role that Plekanec currently plays as the second-line center. But you got the other issue is, like I said, Su Kai Ming is playing in junior, and he's waiting to take over the second-line center position. So we've got good problems that we have to deal with in the future, and future me can worry about those issues. So I think that's everything I wanted to go over. We can now begin with the simulation, and we will begin and take the simulation up to the trade deadline. And the difficult part about this game is I don't even know if LTIR is even a thing in the modern game, but you don't have LTIR, which when you have a long-term injury like PK Subban's, you can put that player on LTIR. I'm just going to go best lines with that. You can put that player on LTIR, and it will not count against the salary cap. So it saves you money, allows you to call up players, allows you to trade for players, but we currently don't have any cap space because even though Subban is injured and out for a long time, he still counts against the cap. There is no LTIR for PK Subban or Derek England or any player that gets injured for this team. But there you go. We got a couple wins there against Nashville and St. Louis. We lost to Florida. And now we've got some time off before... Oh, it's the All-Star game, so I pretty much can guarantee you who's an All-Star. Okay, the All-Stars, the East All-Stars first. We can see Ovechkin, Malkin, Nash on the first line. Stamkos with Zetterberg, Voracek, Pacioretty. Ooh, there you go. Max Pacioretty made it as one of the top scorers on the Canadiens. Wait a minute. Is there really no... There's no Crosby here. No Crosby in the All-Star game. He should be traded. And there you go. Carey Price did make the All-Star game. So I didn't mean to go to the goaltenders just yet, but I had a gut feeling that Carey Price was a lock-in for the All-Star game. So past the lines, I didn't show the D pairs. Kronwall, Hamilton, Pitkanen, Larson, Ehrhoff, and Murray. So there are 2 Habs being represented in the All-Star game. And we'll check out the West All-Stars because we're here. Why not? Kane and Taves. I almost said Caves. Kane and Taves with Ryan, Sedin, Thornton, Smith, MacArthur, Camilleri, Backus, Legwand, Stastny, and Hudler. The D pairs, Schultz, Burns, Daly, Bogosian, Gilbert, and Voinov. And the goaltenders would be Quick and Hovinen. Okay, that's an interesting one there. Hovinen to back up Quick in the All-Star game. Past the All-Star game, and another week closer to deadline day. Another week closer to PK Subban returning to the lineup, as well as Derek England. If we can just hold steady on the injury front, that would certainly calm my nerves. We're doing well, staying at 28, 16, and 4, entering this next matchup against the Colorado Avalanche. The battle of Patrick Waugh's teams. Well, the battle of Patrick Waugh's teams went the favor of the Colorado Avalanche with a 5-3 win. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be in a really tough position. Hold on, I got a scouting assignment. Oh, nope, I'm going to decline that player. I was saying something before the scouting assignment popped up, and I got so focused on scrolling through the scouting that I forgot. Oh, I know what I was going to say now. We won 7-3. That's big over the Coyotes. I'm going to be put in a really difficult predicament if we keep winning games like this, because I need to check the standings when we get halfway. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Oh my God. This is, Ooh, I got a trade proposal from the Bruins. We had a good old Bruins Habs trade here. Boychuk is tempting. But who would fill the Desharnais spot? So this would unload. I would be saving money with this, so much money, because I would knock off, because Boychuk is making less money than Yemelin, right? I don't know what his term is. That's why I'm about to go into edit trade. Obviously, we'd be sending the Desharnais contract to Boston. This is tough. Oh, this is a tough one. Because I would be sending, so they want all of this. They want this. This is their wants, and they want to dump Boychuk off to a different team. But I gotta, how much, the thing for me with Boychuk, he meets, it's tough. He's 31. He has 1 year left. 31 and 1 year left. And he's 3.5 White Star potential as an 84 overall. Now, his skating category is a 4-star skating category. Obviously, an excellent physical category, a good defense category. Man, this is one of those times where I wish I had someone to lean on in the comments section on this one. Because I guarantee you, there will be people that will be like, yes, take this deal. This is what you need. So what shot is Boychuk? He's a right shot defenseman. There you go. There's your right shot defenseman. Now, 84 overall is kind of like second pairing level, but obviously he's better than Yemelin. I'm tempted to say yes to this. We would get rid of Desharnais. This is tough because you would part with Desharnais. We would give ourselves some cap space, but I don't know who plays where Desharnais is playing right now. I want to say yes to this. I really want to say yes to this deal. Oh man. Get Boston to retain salary. Well, what is your rep with Boston can't get much worse. What's the difference in trade value here? Ooh, so they kind of made it close by throwing in this prospect that I don't care about. Well, hold on. How good could he potentially be? Let me take a look. Oh, 2.5 Red Star. So he's just kind of a throw-in player from the Bruins, I guess. Could I get Boston to retain salary? What am I talking about? I'm saving money with these two players being sent the other way. I want to see it. How close is the value? So there's Boychuk's value against Yemelin's. That's pretty close. Desharnais doesn't really get them. I think we'd be making out pretty well here with this. Because I think they're sending more value my way, and they want to offload their expiring defenseman. I wish I knew if Boston was a contender. Well, we can pay attention to that if we make this trade. I'm tempted to say yes. I think I want to say yes. I want to say yes. Oh, this is going to be so painful, but I'm going to say yes to this deal. And the Boston Bruins have agreed to it. There you go. Johnny Boychuk is a Hab now. I did it. I traded Desharnais. But who fills in? We lose 1-0. Who fills in Desharnais' spot? See, then we got England's going to be coming back. That gives me a boost on D though, while Subban is out and England. That's a hard trade. That was a hard trade for me to make. I got to look at my lineup now. I know that there might be people in the comment section that may be saying that was not the trade to make, but it's the trade that I made. Johnny Boychuk immediately to the top pairing. Where was Yemelin? Yemelin was playing on the top pair, so that he just slides right in there. Slide right into the DMs, bro. And Johnny Boychuk is a Hab now. He's got a good shot, so does that put him on the power play? I don't even know. The power play hasn't really been a problem, though, has it? I'm going to go... What's George's shooting category? George's better have... He doesn't have a great shooting category. I'm going to trust that Johnny Boychuk is going to get it done in the power play as that defenseman. Yeah, his shooting category isn't amazing either, to be honest. But whatever, we'll try it on the power play. And obviously, Boychuk's going to kill penalties for this team. So, I wanted to look at this. Ryan White playing center. That's where Desharnais was. Correct me if I'm wrong. We got Moen, Jeffrey Pruss. The bottom six is pretty unfazed. We get Ryan White in there at center, who has a good face-off category anyway. This worked out well for us, actually. This really ended up working out well, and that frees up, obviously, a space for a center, in this case, Ryan White. LeBlanc gets in there. Moen's going to be the guy that slides in because of moving on from Desharnais. So we kind of got that grinder on the fourth line, but at least he's playing fourth line minutes. All right, well, do we have this? Well, what I want to know, I want to pull this up before we start simming anymore. I want to see what Desharnais' stats are at the time of the trade, so we can come back and see what he did with Boston, as well as Yemelin. So I got to now go to Boston. And I gotta find the Bruins. Boston. There we go. Desharnais, at the time of the trade, it says 49 games played here, so he hasn't scored a point. Maybe he hasn't played a game as a Bruin yet. 15 goals, 10 assists, 25 points. So since we have simmed here, I don't know how many games we've simmed, but since I've started this recording session for this second half simulation, Desharnais has not scored a single point. He's at the same points that he was when the video started. So there you go. That's where Desharnais sits as of the trade to Boston. And I can probably actually take a look at Boston's lineup and see how he fits into their lineup, as well as if Boston is a buyer or a seller. Are they a contender or a pretender? I don't know. That's not the word that I was looking for. My brain is mush already. Yemelin, 1 goal this season, 8 assists, 9 points. Not good enough offensively, especially for a second pairing guy. He does kind of shut it down, though. He's a +7, but like we mentioned, he's been a penalty taker, historically speaking, 82 penalties and minutes this season. So he did move on from Yemelin. That's where he stands at the time of the Bruins trade. 50 games played, 9 points. See what he does with Boston. Team rankings. This is a pretty reliable way to see if a team is a contender or not. The Boston Bruins are actually the worst team in the league, I guess. They are down here in the team rankings as the last place team by team rankings. I think this also correlates somewhat with the standings. Yeah, they're last in the division. So we did make an in-division trade with the Boston Bruins. We will certainly be seeing them at some point in the regular season again before things wrap up, but we will definitely not be seeing them in the playoffs. They're in for the Connor McDavid sweepstakes. Yeah, this is the McDavid draft year, by the way. So anyway, now I can further sim along. Oh, who did we got? Boychuk. Did I see Boychuk's stats? I want to see Boychuk's stats as well. So here you go. Johnny Boychuk, at the time of the trade, may have played a game with our team. I think he's played 1 game with our team, but anyway. 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 points, +3 rating, 71 penalties and minutes. There you go, etc., etc. Like we said, 1 year left on that deal, so we can revisit this in the summer. Yeah, the hard part about that trade is giving up a player, in other words, Yemelin, with term, and we did get back a better and a right shot defenseman but that doesn't have term. And that's the downside, is we got a player back that doesn't have term. Pacioretty with a 1-day injury. I can live with that. I don't know. Can I live with 6 more weeks of no PK Subban, which will give us a lot that we're going to have to work around when he gets healthy? It's a good thing I didn't trade Bourque, because Rene Bourque leads the team with 20 goals. Do we try to make a small addition at the deadline? Brad Richardson, the center, making too much money. I could put him down in the A. I'll take a look at the player. So I could get this player off of Boston for free. Ooh, 30 years old. How many years left? 1 year left at that value. And I do have the cap space now, though, because I offloaded Desharnais. He hasn't done much of anything in the NHL at the NHL level. He could be a decent... You know what? He could be a decent depth option, and I'm just going to claim the player and put him in the minors. See, now I have 1.098 million in cap space, and there's Brad Richardson, already one of the better centers I have down in the A. I've claimed Richardson and Ferraro off of waivers. I could probably try to... Could I call that player up? I think while we've got the 2 injuries that I'm dealing with, before I can send a player down, I wait on calling up Brad Richardson from the A. I think we let him play in the A for right now, and he's a nice option in case someone does get injured in the future at center, because our center depth is now not as amazing, having moved on from Desharnais. We did take a bit of a hit at center. Now, I don't know if Richardson's value in a trade would be very good, but he could be part of a package deal at the deadline. This would be an interesting deadline to try to... I think we got to try to add, if we can, at the deadline. Again, cap space is going to be a little tight because we still barely have any cap space to play with. But I think we got to try to... Maybe we upgrade the wing. Try to upgrade the wing. Maybe move... it's tough because realistically, you're trying to look for a trade with a rebuilder, and I'm trying to keep this kind of realistic. So I'm just going to spout off at the mouth here while this simulates. But you're trying to look for a trade with a rebuilder, and they'd be moving on from, say, a veteran player. It would help if there's a player on the block that makes sense to try to make us better for this season. But the deal is, I don't want to give up too much of the future to just get a rental player for this season just because we're in win now mode. And this team is in win now mode. We're doing a very good job at winning so far. Engeland's almost back. That's going to cause problems against the salary cap. Well, not really, because, I mean, he still counts against the cap even though he's been injured. As I mentioned, there is no LTIR. So now I got an interesting call here to make. Koska has to go back down. Well, Strawman's been playing, actually. Yeah, Strawman got called up. He might get claimed. Yeah, I don't know. He might get claimed. He doesn't count much against the cap, by the way. He's making sub $1 million, that minor league contract, and same thing for Koska. But obviously, the easy guy to send down is Strawman. So the first thing we need to do is find England. We need to make sure the player is dressed, and that's Beaulieu. Now it's England. So England's a right shot, isn't he? Is he a right shot? He is a right shot. Koska is a right shot or a left shot? He's a right. So both are right shots. Someone's going to have to play their offside, and I'm going to make that Koska playing the offside there. England is... What's his defense category? Do you think England's a better penalty killer? His categories are okay. For some reason, I guess it's just defensive awareness. His defense category is not quite a 4-star category, but he could make sense as a potential penalty killer. So we've made that substitution. I have to go to roster moves and send down Strawman. And there's Strawman. This is going to be tough because I'm going to guess he gets claimed. He's going to get claimed, isn't he? Did he go down? Did he make it? Did he pass waivers? He passed waivers? No way. Wait, let's see. We may have to simulate ahead a day because it may be realistic like that. He may have cleared, though. So England's back in there. So yeah, there is a missing spot here on the power play. Man, really gonna have my hands tied when Subban comes back into the lineup. And now we got the Minnesota Wild on the road. And that is a 3-2 win. Subban 3 weeks out from his return. There's the deadline. Okay, it's time to start getting serious about making a potential trade. I'm going to sim past these 2 games we got coming up. And then I will take a peek at a possible trade. I might even wait until actual deadline day to do it. Rene Bourque has really improved his trade value. He would be a fun player to try to move on from. If I can basically... I'm looking to try to upgrade Rene Bourque. Hold on one second. We got a scouting assignment. I'm looking to upgrade... Oh. See, they want thrower, but I don't want Paul Martin. Oh, you know what? I should have edited my... let me just, for fun, let me just look at Paul Martin. His value seemed to be pretty high. He's currently 30. He's 33, man. How old was Boychuk? I forgot, $5 million. I don't have the cap space for that. Of course, we're trading them prospects, right? There's no way this would actually go through. Hold on one second. They wanted Bourneval. There's no way. I don't have the salary cap available to make this trade work. What are you smoking in Pittsburgh thinking I can make this deal go through? Also, I'm not sending you Thrower. Dalton Thrower has pretty good trade value. Wow. I don't even think the trade value is close even when you throw in the second and Bourneval to match Martin's trade value. But for some reason, this is approved by the league. But yes, erase the offer. I can't accept it. I need to edit my... I'm going to get another trade offer, aren't I? I need to edit my trade block. Yes, I need to edit the trade block. Just give me 1 second. So we want to change this to be a forward player role. I'm looking for at least a second line forward. At least. All the rest is fine. I'm going to go here and I'm going to do forward, player role, first line forward, minimum 4-star, that's fine. But instead of worrying about the skating category, I am interested in the shooting category. So it's got to be 4-star minimum shooting category. I traded both players that were on the block, didn't I? Give me a second. I got to go back in here and I got to edit my block and put, hold on, players on the block. I'm going to put Rene Bourque on the block. Now there you go. Hold on 1 second. He has some trade value right now. He has boosted his trade value, so accept those changes. Maximilian Weiss was put on Anaheim for some stupid reason. Weiss is on Anaheim. He wasn't even available to be drafted. This is one of my created prospects. Okay, so that explains why he's not in the draft screen. For some reason, the game put him on Anaheim. I thought I went in and changed all that. Anyway, when you create a player, it automatically puts your created players on a team. So there you go. Maximilian Weiss doesn't have a ton of trade value, though. That's interesting. Hey, how about we trade for Nathan McKinnon? And Kolzak Nikitin is a Tampa Bay prospect for some reason. So he's not in the draft. So there you go. There are players that I created for the draft that are just already on other organizations. Oh, well, that's the way that it goes, I guess. All right, I'm not seeing anything in I went and explored some trades, but we're going to sim up to deadline day. See if maybe a team approaches me about a possible trade. Jeffrey got injured. I'm going to try to sell off Rene Bourque, and if I can, upgrade Rene Bourque into something better. But this is taking forever. Why is it taking so long? Trade negotiations. Yeah, this is it. Last chance to do a trade before the playoffs. I only have 3 phones to do this? Oh, God. That's a nightmare waiting to happen. I'm going to try and see what's out here. Let's go and explore some trades again. I've got an interesting trade proposal. Pittsburgh, how many years left on James Neal? 27 years old, 3 years left at $5 million. And this is a legitimate top 6 winger right here. The real deal, James Neal. We're going to potentially send Bourque and Thrower. I'm not throwing anything else in there. Here's the trade values, by the way, between these 3 players. Bourque's trade value on the left. Thrower's trade value on the right. James Neal on the other side. There's James Neal's trade value. I think I butchered that commentary. Here's Rene Bourque, and at the time of the trade, the stats at the time of the trade proposal, this hasn't gone through yet. 33 years old, with 2 years remaining, leading goal scorer on the Canadiens at this moment in time. Dalton Thrower, a prospect, D prospect, drafted second round 2012 by these very Canadiens on an ELC. That would, with forced gold star potential, that would save so much money for the Pittsburgh Penguins here. They'd be saving quite a bit of money. I don't even know if I'd have any cap space available by adding James Neal, but I'm going to press triangle. I bet this gets rejected, but if anything else, I can throw a draft pick in there. James Neal, I looked at the trade value of Bork and I looked at the trade value of Thrower and said, combined, we can get a legit player with this. Now, the issue for me, is this realistic? I don't know, because I don't know where Pittsburgh is in the standings. Sidney Crosby hasn't even made the All-Star team. I don't know what's going on with Pittsburgh this year. I don't know if they're a competitor, but Bork still keeps them to be pretty good. It still makes them pretty good, and they get a good D prospect for the future. We just get James Neal for right now. Triangle. Yeah, I figured that Pittsburgh was not going to want to choke that up. So I've wasted one of my 3 phones. This will be my second opportunity to get this done. I'm not giving up on this deal. So I think the trade value is close. I've thrown in a second round pick, which really doesn't add a whole lot of trade value. I'll throw a second and a fourth. Yeah, sure. I'll throw a second and a fourth in there to try to get James Neal out of Pittsburgh. We're trying to pry James Neal away from the Penguins, giving them a second line forward in exchange for a true first line forward with Dalton Thrower in the mix. A good prospect. A second for this year and a fourth for this year for James Neal. Have I burned another one of my phones? I certainly have. I think I'm way off. And this is my last phone. I think I'm way off. With the fact that there's just one, we're going to have a late first round pick, right? Do I give up the first round pick to get James Neal? What was I doing? That was Anaheim, not Pittsburgh. Here we go. Okay. This is going to be... I figured that it was going to be tough to get James Neal out of Pittsburgh. It makes sense. I mean, why would you want to move on from James Neal if you're Pittsburgh, especially if they're contending? Then it really wouldn't make sense if they're contending. I'm sorry. He's a defense prospect. I'm all over the place right now. Where's Thrower? There's Dalton Thrower. Give me the draft picks. Oh, Fucale. He has some trade value on him. That might be a goaltender of the future. There you go. Fucale's the goaltender of the future for this team. But anyway, I'm looking for trade or draft picks to trade. The first, I don't want to give him the second. I'll throw him the first and the fourth just to give him 2 draft picks for this year for James Neal. First and the second is a little steep for James Neal. I know that the trade value is high, and this is a high value caliber player that we're trying to acquire. Also, I haven't paid attention to this. What's he done this year? 48 points and minus 14. I'm guessing it's just not working out in Pittsburgh. It's not working out in Pittsburgh, and they're trying to move on from him, get something for him. Last try, or we don't actually make a deal at the deadline. Oh, man. Well, there it goes. There will be no trade made at the deadline. That's fine, because I still hold on the Thrower for the offseason, so we can try to trade Thrower in the offseason. Anaheim acquires Patrick Marleau at the deadline. I hate it. We didn't boost the team by the deadline. I really hope we make the playoffs and just go on an absolute tear. Continue. I'll check on transactions in a moment. Oh, there's 3 hours remaining. Oh, that's right. Well, there's plenty of time left to actually make this deal. Never mind. What about Brad? Oh, my God. What about Brad Marchand? We just did a deal with Boston, but what about you know what? Boston is selling right now. We know for a fact Boston's at the bottom of the division. What is Marchand considered? He's 86? So you know what? Let's try to turn Rene Bourque into Brad Marchand. What's the trade value between these two players? Okay, so you would definitely have to throw in another player. I think you just trade up. Let's see what kind of prospects do we have. This would be so tough to throw within division, but I think it makes the trade value really close. I think you give them Thrower, and then we give them another prospect that's really, low on the totem pole for us. So I'm going to send him Nathan Walker. This seems like overpayment for Marchand, and I'll throw in a draft pick as well. So I'm going to give them a third. This to me is kind of overpayment for Brad Marchand, and people may agree with that. My brain is scrambled eggs trying to make a deal go through here on deadline day. But Marchand, the value's there. He is, I want to pull up Marchand one more time. 26 years of age. Has 3 years left at that value contract. This is what he's done in the NHL, 47 points, 27 goals. So similar numbers, I believe, to James Neal on a rebuilding Bruins team. This would really make sense from a Boston perspective. You get Rene Bourque, who is, like I said, 33. He helps you kind of stay competitive and gives you a veteran presence in the lineup to replace Marchand. You get Thrower, who's a prospect. You want prospects right now if you're Boston. So you get this talented Dalton Thrower, defense prospect. You get Nathan Walker, a prospect that we haven't signed yet, and maybe he could become something. He's not signed to a contract. 3.5 gold star potential, and I gave you the 3rd round pick, so you can draft. You can potentially draft somebody with that 3rd round pick. I think Walker might be tough because he's unsigned, so that might make it tough to actually make this deal go through. But I'm going to burn up a phone trying for Marchand. So I got to remember, Bourque, Thrower, a prospect, and a pick for Brad Marchand. And Boston accepts it. Brad Marchand is a Hab. How about that? I'm shutting down the phones now. We are done. We just turned Rene Bourque into Brad Marchand. That's painful because we did have to part ways with Dalton Thrower, so that's a little tough, honestly, because he could turn out to be something. But you gotta give something to get something, right? So that's what we did in order to acquire Marchand. I think Habs fans in the real world, I'm shutting down the phones for the rest of this, unless, you know what, there might be a little bit of a 4th line option on the block. Let me look at what other teams are giving away. All right, how about this? Richardson and a 7th for Dale Weiss. And Weiss would just be a call-up option. He's younger than Richardson is, and I'm just looking to get younger. I mean, Richardson's done literally nothing, and he was claimed on waivers from Boston. So I'll throw in the 7th round pick to get a younger Dale Weiss who signed for just 1 year. And who knows? I mean, Dale Weiss could be a good little depth option for us. We wouldn't be saving any money with this. He's making slightly more than Richardson, but they want to trade Dale Weiss, and I want to trade, and they want Richardson as well. So let's bring Dale Weiss home to Montreal. It's not quite close, but the value is just a little low. All right, I'll give you Ottawa. I'll give you Richardson, Dale Weiss, Gingras, a prospect, and a 7th. I mean, this is a prospect with like no trade value. I mean, this is kind of getting into overpayment territory for Dale Weiss. So one more attempt at it. I think it went through. Thank you, Ottawa. And okay, whatever. So what about that? What about our team? AHL lines, best lines? So we've acquired Dale Weiss from Ottawa. We brought him home, baby. Richardson did come in handy. All right, we're down to the last hours of deadline day. Paul Martin to San Jose from Pittsburgh. They acquire Antiniemi and Hamilton, Freddie Hamilton, in that deal. Ryan Jones acquired from Colorado by Boston, and that's the only other deals that have gone through on the deadline. Man, we've been going for a while. Shut down the phones one last time, and the transactions, that should be it for deadline day. So yes, we're done with deadline day. I want to take a look and make sure that my roster is set before we sim any further. So coaching options and edit lines. Wow, look at that. Brad Marchand on the first line is a wonderful sight. That's a beautiful sight. Is Dale Weiss let me go by centers, wingers, right wing. Dale Weiss is a healthy scratch. There you go. So he is in a healthy extra. I could probably send him down and he'd probably go through on waivers, but I don't really want to find out. Then again, I didn't give up a whole lot in order to get Dale Weiss over here. We're still waiting on PK Subban, Johnny Boychuk. So Marchand and Boychuk reunite as Habs players. That's a beautiful storyline, isn't it? On the power play, he's already in there. So Brad Marchand on the power play. I actually didn't pay attention to 5-on-5 if I like this. Marchand beside Duchesne and Pacioretty. Eller, Plekanec, Gallagher, Leroy. I like this. I like the way this shakes out. Did LeBlanc glow? Did he glow? He is glowing at an 84. Did he grow? He's 84. Has he grown this season? Did I even pay attention? Was he an 84 to start the year? He's got 37 points, 9 goals. Not bad for a guy playing on the third line this year. Not too bad at all. That's worked out nicely. Leopold, Beaulieu, England, Koska, Georges with Boychuk. I like all of this. I didn't pay attention. Penalty kill. Okay, I like that. Everything shakes out nicely for this Canadiens team. I think we can just simulate. So we're past the deadline now, waiting on and we haven't even gotten PK Subban back. I think the team, it still says Rene Bourque in the top right, by the way. I think the team is absolutely better on paper since we've added added those moves at the deadline. Marchand, and then of course before the deadline, Johnny Boychuk. Getting Dale Weiss here is a healthy extra because Jeffrey just went down with an injury, so we may need 6 weeks. We may need Dale Weiss right now. Let me actually see. Is Dale Weiss better than Moen? Moen is in there right now, and Dale Weiss might make more sense. He's a right wing, isn't he? He might make more sense as the body to get in the lineup. Yeah, let's just go ahead and put Dale Weiss in instead of Moen. So this is a very simple move for me. I find Moen, who's a left wing. We're going to scratch. Oh, that's the wrong thing. How do I scratch the player? Moen, scratch. Right wingers, Weiss, dress, place in the lineup. There you go. Oh, the rematch with Boston. We got a rematch with the Boston Bruins. The first time Marchand will face his former team. Rene Bourque will face his former team. And so will Johnny Boychuk. Marchand and Boychuk back in the building at the TD Garden to take on the Bruins. Rivalry is renewed in a different form, and we shut them out 2-0. PK Subban really close to getting back. I can feel it in my eyeballs. I can feel the PK Subban in my eyeballs. I don't exactly know if you'd want to be feeling PK Subban in your eyeballs, but it brings me tremendous joy that we are 10 days out now. Oh, and just like that, by the way, Brad Marchand became the leading goal scorer with 28 goals now. I need to look at it and see where Pittsburgh finishes, if that would have made sense for Pittsburgh to move on from James Neal. It didn't happen, so it really does not matter now. We lost that game to Philly in extra time, by the way, so we got a point off the Flyers in that 4-3 loss. LeBlanc is now gone. Oh, the injuries are really hitting. Don't tell me that LeBlanc's going to be a long-term one. I probably should have went out and got a depth center, anticipating that would have happened to my team. 3-0 loss. There's the big one. Subban's back. We just took another injury. I couldn't see it because it popped away. Landon Ferraro is now called up. Blundin's in there. We're missing all fourth liners. Although Dale Weiss got moved up. Ryan White is moved up. On defense, Koska's probably got to be sent down. So we got some things to do here. We got big-time things to do here. This is a whirlwind change for these Canadiens. So Subban's dressed. Koska scratched. Give me PK. PK's out immediately top pair with Johnny Boychuk. Now, this is interesting because we do have a right shot in Subban playing the right side. He's going to be playing the right side. And we got the right shot in Johnny Boychuk, who's obviously, you know what? You could probably play Johnny Boychuk on the second. Let's go. Let's do this. Beaulieu, you've done great, Nathan Beaulieu. I'm going to guess that Beaulieu is he a plus? He's a plus 17, dude. He's been playing second pair. Beaulieu's ready. But, you know, we're going to move him back down the lineup. Johnny Boychuk is a right shot, and he's going to play on the second pair with Leopold. We're going to kind of spread it around a little bit. So Subban with Georges on the top pairing for right now. I like that. Obviously, we got to have Subban on the power play. Beaulieu can get his ice time on the power play. I like that for Beaulieu. But I guess I'm going to guess that Beaulieu is going to see a tremendous growth this year. Subban, we won't have you kill penalties. We'll leave that up to these guys. Is Beaulieu on the penalty kill? No, Beaulieu is not killing penalties right now. Not as of the moment. Might want to actually go back to that. I think he was killing penalties before England got put in there because of best lines. So I'm going to actually put Nathan Beaulieu on the PKs instead of England. I think he really likes... Oops, that was England. I already had that. I think he likes the ice time. Okay, so the injuries are all to my fourth liners. Chad LaRose got injured. So we're missing Dustin Jeffrey, LeBlanc for an undetermined time, Chad LaRose, undetermined time as of now. The injury bug is starting to strike. Oh my God, I really wish I went out and got a depth center. 4-week injury to LaRose. 5 weeks to Jeffrey. 8 weeks to LeBlanc. There goes my big third-line center with a long-term injury. That's going to carry into the playoffs, and this is a playoff team. That's just a bad time for that fourth. That fourth line has taken a hit, and it's not working out. I got to move some people around. I really do. I'm going to have to look at the lines and move some people around. Moen, this is not going to get it done. Oh, I'm going to try. Didn't need these injuries. I think we're going to be fine. We're post-deadline. We're at the tail end of March. It's just a matter of my entire team needs to survive through the last month and a half of the season, basically. Well, it's almost a month now, isn't it? Because we play deep. Do we play deep into April, right? But anyway, oh man, the losing streak. Oh, the losing streak right now. I don't know if this is due to the fourth line injuries that's causing this losing streak. Not an optimal time to start struggling like this. We finally win a game. Now we're staying a little healthier. I'm waiting for this game. It's going to slap me with a PK Subban 6-week injury or something of that nature. Even though he just returned, it'll probably do that to me. It'll be PK Subban or Johnny Boychuk. Someone's going to get. Brad Marchand will probably get hit with a long-term injury. So let's sim up to this 29th of March. We just lost to Carolina, by the way, 6-4. We just cannot right the ship here. And for the most part, I think these injuries that I have going on with my fourth line are going to carry. There you go. There's a Johnny Boychuk injury, but it's a one-day injury. Called that, so that's a playable injury for him. Oh man, we're coming back to we're kind of coming back to center here with these losses. Scouting assignment. A little bit of a back down to earth moment for the Canadiens right now. This is literally just to survive, get to the playoffs. LaRose, Gallagher, 3-day injury. I just got to sim it. I don't know what else I can do. I just got to sim through all this. LaRose is 2 more weeks. So right at the tail end of the season, basically. We're into April now, because this is April 1st, and why did we take Gallagher out of the lineup? I hate the injuries in this game so much. At least it hit my fourth line for right now. At least it hit my fourth line. But that's really affected my team in such a negative way. We just keep losing games. Let's get an update of the standings. Where are we now? Oh no! Oh no! Oh my God! Wait a minute. What's the cut? What is the playoff cutoff? It is right now. It's literally between us and the Leafs. So the teams in the playoffs right now, if the playoffs started today in the game, it would be Buffalo would be in, Tampa Bay would be in, Detroit would be in, and Toronto would be in. And we would be in. Yeah, we would be in. We're ahead of, so okay, we would be in, and then the top 3 teams in the Metro, Washington, Philly, New Jersey, would all be in the playoffs. Columbus is below the cut line right now, and everyone below Columbus. So Columbus, Carolina, Pittsburgh, New York Rangers, Islanders, all out of the playoffs. Below us, Ottawa, we're 10 points, we're 11 points ahead of Ottawa. So we're well clear of Ottawa. We're kind of clear right now. We're 8 points clear of Columbus. It just needs to stay this way. Okay, we got to actually pay attention to what we're doing right now, and I can't do anything about the lineup. It just kind of is what it is. We just got to simulate. I didn't realize that it was going to be that tight. We were leading the division, and I thought we were good, but all these losses, this is what I mean. You drop a stretch of games. We won against Detroit. That's big. You drop a stretch of games, and all of a sudden, the playoff conversation changes completely. You know, this is why we cannot rest on our laurels. There's a big 8-2 spanking. We spanked the Red Wings 2 games in a row, but Lars Eller got injured. Go figure. So that means Koska gets in there, and I don't have a choice but to roll with the defenseman in the lineup and hope it works. Hope we can win a game with that. Please, we lost to to Florida, but Chad LaRose is back now. So we lost to. Oh, wait a minute. This is the end of the season. This is the end of the this is the last game of the season. So we're in. We're in, right? We made the playoffs? Hold on. I didn't realize we were already here at the end of the season. And we're in. We made it. Okay, we made it into the playoffs. Now we can jump into a top 3 spot in the division. If we win this game, we would get 2 points up to 95, and we would need the Leafs to maybe lose, but we are guaranteed to make the playoffs. Let's just find out what happens. Simulate up a day. Lars Eller is a 9-week injury. We're going to be beat up and banged up going into the postseason, but we're going to make it in Season 2 with an opportunity to defend our Stanley Cup. Marchand hits 30 goals. I'm burned out from this recording session. I'm going to be burned out editing this. We lose 1-0 at the end of the season. LaRose got injured again. This game, just F off. This game can just go suck itself. I mean, this is ridiculous. Koska is injured in there because of the injury to LaRose. So we got injured in the season finale. I'm upgrading my med staff in the offseason. I'm not having this again. This is ridiculous. But that's the way my lineup looks going into the playoffs. I'm just going to have to edit it ahead of playoff game number 1. These injuries are so freaking stupid. Oh, my God. Here, I want to look at the injury. I just want to show the injury report just so everyone can see it, and it's nice and summarized for you. LaRose needing to be evaluated. Eller, MCL sprain, back June 11th. The Stanley Cup will probably be awarded by then. That's a big loss. Jeffrey, April 20th, so he'll be coming back soon. LeBlanc, May 15, a full month after Jeffrey returns. Anybody else dealing with injuries? So Nashville, New Jersey, Islanders, Rangers, if you want to pause and look at how long these are, extensive injuries for any of these teams, here you go. I'm just going to make sure this is all in the video. And we got to find out who our first round opponent's going to be as well. Nikita Nikitin. For a second, I thought that was Nikitin, the goaltender that Tampa Bay has. It's supposed to be my created player. This is supposed to be drafted. Wow, Boston really beat up. Oh, I'm stressed out over these injuries. How are we going to fare in the playoffs? We're going to be knocked out in round 1. And by the way, I'm bumping up a slider ahead of the playoffs. I will evaluate on that before our first playoff game. Oh, the injury. Everyone's dealing with them, though. I mean, it's not exclusive to my team. I will say that. It's not exclusive to my club. Sim ahead a day. Find out who our first round opponent's going to be and what the playoff tree is, and take a look at the stats. Scouting assignment. So the season is over. I only got 42, so they're really disappointed because I got 42 and not 45 wins while dealing with a million injuries. So the playoff tree, let's see that first. Let's see the playoff tree. It will be Buffalo, Montreal in the first round, Tampa Bay, Toronto, Washington, Detroit, Philly, New Jersey. That'll be about the most exciting one in the first round. Calgary faces Winnipeg, Anaheim, LA out west, Dallas, Chicago, St. Louis, Minnesota. These are the 16 teams that are vying for a shot at Lord Stanley, including your defending Cup champion, Montreal Canadiens. Real quick, because I want to wrap this recording session up, just going to show you the leaders for the Canadiens. Leading goal scorer, Brad Marchand, acquired at the deadline. And I'm just going to scroll through and you can see everyone's offensive numbers. This is all skaters and what everyone did this year. Plus minus is also something I might show. I might scroll through the plus minus just so you can see who performed in what way on plus minus. Not that plus minus is the end all be all, but my God, PK Subban with a minus 13. He had a 1-goal season. No way. PK, well, yeah, he missed all that time, but 1 goal still in 42 games. He missed all that time before he came back from his injury. Keep that in mind, that PK Subban was injured for half the season, basically. And we still made the playoffs anyway. So that's all the stats for the Canadian skaters. This is the goaltending, Elliott and Price. So we gave Price a nice rest while he played 69 games. Very nice. 36 wins, 2.44 GAA. And save percentage, 92% save percentage. So no complaints there from Carey Price. I also wanted to pull up Price's performance from last year's season. He played 70 games last year and finished with very slightly better numbers. Well, actually, his save percentage was better this year than it was last year, but slightly better numbers last season, I guess. He played 1 extra game. His playoffs, I wanted to show you his playoffs last year. 22 games played. Honestly, a candidate for that Conn Smythe trophy that ultimately went to PK Subban. Now, all stats for skaters in the entire league. Alex Ovechkin looks like he will once again be taking home the Richard Trophy. The points leader, Steven Stamkos, is winning the Art Ross Trophy. I'm curious, what kind of season did Sidney Crosby have? He had a 76.24 goal season. Okay. Sidney Crosby had a pretty decent year on a Penguins team that fell out of the playoff picture. So we'll sort the goaltenders by games played. Price played the most of any goaltender. Did anyone have a better year than Price did? Do you think Price? Maybe Niemi. He played a very close amount of games. Maybe Niemi takes home the Vezina Trophy. but we'll see this at the end of the season. And that's it for the stats that I wanted to look at as far as player stats. Now, we do want to see the team standings. How did things shake out in the entire league? So, sorted by points, I think it already is sorted by points. This is how the whole league shook up. So, at the bottom of the barrel, Boston is looking to tank for McDavid. The Islanders, Coyotes, Sharks, Avalanche, Vancouver, Edmonton, all of these teams outside looking in. Pittsburgh, outside looking in. Carolina, Ottawa, Columbus. Who's the last team in? Winnipeg is the last team in. And the last team in the East that got in is us. We are the last team in the East with 93 points. We'll show the division and how we cleared the division. Metropolitan Division, just 3 teams represent the Metro in the playoffs this year, including that first round matchup between Philly and New Jersey. In the Atlantic Division, 5 teams get in, us being the last of the 5 teams. We had quite a gap between ourselves and the Senators, with 3 teams in our division missing the playoffs. Buffalo finished at the top of the division. The Central in the West. This is the Pacific in the West. How about that, Calgary? They get a 111-point year. Did they win the President's Trophy? Look at that. Calgary Flames had a President's Trophy winning year. Remember, they got Johnny Gaudreau. I'm going to have to go take a look at that. So I want to summarize all this compared to the whole league. So let's start with goals for per game. Where did we finish? Oh, that's Calgary. What the hell? Where did we finish in goals for per game? I'm looking for Montreal. Oh, we were not a goal-scoring team. Wow. We were the worst goals for per game to get into the playoffs, so we do not score. But we do have a guy named Carey Price. Goals against per game for the Canadiens, it's kind of middle of the pack. Middle of the pack in goals against per game. Power play percentage for us was, did I see it correctly? Was it 17? It was 17.4%. So that's not too bad. It's almost 18%. And the PK, I think, was 82. 82.2% PK. We finished 4-5-1 in the last 10. Oh, yes, and I have to look at what Johnny Gaudreau did this season. He had he performed in 82 games, 35.13 goals season in his sophomore year. As he's a 78 overall player right now with a 4.5 Green Star potential. I told you my brain is washed right now. But his trade value is insane, so he's just gonna continue to get better. Compared to season number 1, he's improved in points, he's improved in goals, and he played a few more games. He played a few extra games than he did in season number 1 as well. So I like to see that from Gaudreau. He did play in those playoff games. The Flames made it to the postseason. Obviously, they won the President's Trophy, so he was part of a big President's Trophy winning Flames team. I want to see what they did offensively. Camilleri carried that load for Calgary. Stepan, I think they offer sheeted Stepan. Glenn Cross, Hudler, Backlund, Weidman, Whitney. They actually signed Whitney the same way that I did. So someone that is in control of the Calgary Flames front office had the same idea that I had there. There's another player that we need to take a look at. Where is he? Where in the world is he? He's got to be there. He is. Axel Arnersson, 3 goals, 14 games played this year, and 6 points. Did they just send him back down to? Did they send him down to the A, or did they send him back down to junior? What happened here, Vancouver? He played 14 games. He's a beast. He's gonna be really good, and they didn't play him but 14 games. Did he get injured? There's no way. Well, I'm burned out. We know for a fact, we know for a fact that I'm going to be playing the Buffalo Sabres in Game 1, Round 1 in the next episode. I got to make some line changes as well before the next episode, before we play that first game of the playoffs. And we're going to be bumping up a slider as well to make things more interesting for this playoff round. And season number 2, the opportunity to defend our cup. My brain is melted, man. I really am. I'm sitting here and doing this for almost 2 hours. It's just, there's so much editing that's going to have to be done. I am not looking forward to it, but I'm glad I've gotten the video recorded. Thank you for sitting through this. And hopefully everybody enjoyed the trades that I made. Hopefully those trades work out for us. It's going to be so much fun to be in control of Brad Marchand on the Canadiens.